The cold expanse of space stretched endlessly, a void so vast that even the most advanced alien fleets could barely grasp its infinite silence. Stars gleamed in distant clusters, indifferent witnesses to the unfolding events, their light barely cutting through the darkness where the alien Armada loomed. Thousands of vessels, colossal in scale, moved as one, their hulls bristling with weapons designed to annihilate entire civilizations. Each ship was a testament to centuries of conquest, forged from alloys unknown to human science, coated with reflective shields that shimmered with energy, and adorned with alien runes that pulsed ominously as they prepared to unleash death upon an unsuspecting Earth. The commanders of this armada, beings whose intellect and ambition spanned generations, surveyed the approaching target with calculated confidence. They had dominated star systems, toppled empires, and erased countless species, all in the name of expansion and control. Humanity, to them, was merely another insignificant point of resistance, a species too primitive to pose any real challenge. Across the subspace channels, the Armada transmitted its declaration of war, a message resonating with cold finality. Earth will kneel. Resistance is futile. Humanity is insignificant. The message was intended to instill terror, to provoke instant surrender, but it was met with something the aliens had not anticipated: calm defiance. The response arrived swiftly, succinctly, and with an almost audacious simplicity. Humans do not kneel. For a fleeting moment, the alien commanders thought it a glitch, a corrupted transmission, or a failed attempt at communication. But then, sensors detected movement. Human fleets emerging from hidden sectors of the galaxy. Vessels that had remained cloaked and undetected for centuries. Their presence revealed only when humanity deemed it necessary. These ships were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Their hulls were sleek yet heavily armed, capable of maneuvering with speed that defied known physics. They carried weaponry that had been concealed, not for fear, but for strategy, and their approach was precise, coordinated, and unnervingly silent. The alien Armada attempted to respond with its traditional tactics: overwhelming force, concentrated firepower, and intimidation. But humans were prepared. The first strike shattered expectations. Quantum torpedoes, traveling faster than any known engine could explain, tore through the Armada's defenses, disassembling shields once thought impenetrable. Alien vessels that had survived centuries of warfare crumpled under human assault. Panic, subtle at first, began to ripple through the command structures. The flagship, apex of Dominion, unleashed its most devastating weapon, a superluminous beam designed to annihilate entire moons. Yet humanity turned even this weapon against them. Using a combination of energy redirection and gravitational manipulation, human ships reflected the devastating energy back upon the flagship, slicing through armor and leaving it in ruin. Alien officers, trained to expect fear and submission, were instead confronted with a species that not only resisted, but countered with brilliance, foresight, and creativity that no intelligence in the galaxy had ever encountered. Across the battlefield, the void became a theater of precision and ingenuity. Every alien attack was met with anticipation, every maneuver countered before it could begin. The human fleets did not merely react, they orchestrated the chaos, moving in coordinated patterns that seemed almost prescient, as if they could predict the very thoughts of their enemies. Sensors that had guided entire armadas were rendered useless. Communication channels that had maintained centuries of military dominance were jammed, hacked, and repurposed by humans in moments. Each alien attempt at intimidation was met with calculated resistance. Each desperate assault was turned back with devastating consequence. Within hours, fleets that had assumed themselves untouchable were shattered, left drifting in the cold, silent void like broken relics of an overconfident civilization. The alien commanders, whose arrogance had long been their strength, were left grappling with a terrifying realization: they had misjudged humanity. This was not a species to be dismissed, eradicated, or controlled. These humans combined ingenuity, courage, and indomitable will into a force that challenged the very order of the cosmos. Even in the face of overwhelming firepower, humans advanced, not with panic, but with purpose. Their eyes, minds, and ships were focused on a single objective: survival, mastery, and the undeniable assertion of their existence. And as the first volleys of human counterattacks tore through the alien formation, it became clear that the war had only just begun. But already the rules of engagement had shifted irrevocably. Humanity was awake, and the galaxy would never underestimate them again. The remnants of the alien armada recoiled as human strategy revealed itself not merely as defense, but as an unprecedented form of cosmic offense. Across the void, human ships glimmered like shards of starlight, their formations a blend of art and warfare, defying every expectation of alien military doctrine. Commanders aboard the alien vessels stared at their screens, watching in disbelief as their meticulously calculated trajectories, their centuries-honed tactics, collapsed under the unexpected ingenuity of humanity. Every alien maneuver, every coordinated strike intended to overwhelm, was anticipated, countered, and neutralized. But the humans did not simply react. They imposed a new order on the battlefield, one governed not by fear or tradition, but by raw intellect and unshakable resolve. From the flagship, the human admiral's presence was palpable across the fleet. His voice, calm yet authoritative, flowed through subspace channels, coordinating strikes with precision that alien sensors could not fully grasp. He did not shout orders. He articulated solutions that required thinking several steps ahead of a species that prided itself on predictive warfare. The humans had anticipated the alien armada's every advantage: energy shields that could withstand centuries of bombardment, propulsion systems designed for rapid escape, even the mind-link technology that allowed alien commanders to coordinate with near telepathic efficiency. Each of these advantages was neutralized, often turned against the attackers in a matter of minutes. Quantum destabilizers tore through alien hulls before weapons could discharge. Subspace hackers infiltrated command matrices, turning enemy communication into a labyrinth of contradictory instructions, sowing confusion and despair. And yet, humans moved with calculated restraint, striking precisely where necessary, leaving minimal collateral among the spars, almost as if to demonstrate not merely their capability for destruction, but their mastery over it. Among the alien ranks, fear began to manifest. Not the kind bred from physical threat, but the existential dread of encountering a species that defied prediction. Where their sensors detected ingenuity, there were only humans. Where their war councils predicted hesitation, there was only determination. Where their history suggested submission, there was only resistance that seemed boundless. Reports began to cascade up the alien hierarchy. Entire squadrons vaporized in moments, capital ships shredded by precise quantum strikes, and wormhole traps that had entrapped countless enemies now useless against a species that bent space as easily as thought. The alien officers whispered among themselves, some daring to call it madness, others muttering the unspeakable truth: these humans are something else entirely. As the first hours of battle ended, the void had transformed. What had been a confident armada, ready to assert dominance and claim conquest, now drifted in disarray, a tangle of debris, shattered energy trails, and silent alarms that could not summon hope. Humanity, however, did not pause. The human fleets advanced steadily, not consumed by anger or vengeance, but guided by an unyielding principle: survival, mastery, and the assertion that no species could dictate terms to them. Entire alien sectors that had long considered Earth irrelevant now quaked at its power. Planetary systems that had never known fear of the human's reach were now littered with automated warnings and collapsing colonies, not from unchecked violence, but from precise, intelligent containment. Every alien ship that survived the initial strike faced a choice: surrender, adapt, or perish. And the humans, ever patient, ever calculating, made no exceptions. Their strategy combined elements of diplomacy, intimidation, and sheer unassailable power, presenting themselves not as aggressors, but as a force whose very presence altered the balance of the galaxy. The alien commanders realized, almost too late, that they were not facing a conventional species. This was a civilization that had studied the cosmos, understood it, and refined its techniques not for glory, but for survival and dominance. Every maneuver, every technological advantage, was met with a countermeasure that seemed to anticipate the next step before it was even conceived. Across the void, alien fleets attempted to regroup, desperately transmitting distress calls to command stations light years away. But the humans had already severed or rerouted these channels, isolating the fleets and forcing them to confront the consequences of underestimating Earth's defenders. And yet, amidst the tactical brilliance and devastating counterattacks, there was something else: a confidence, an almost audacious calm that radiated from the human fleets. They did not rage, they did not panic, they did not seek vengeance for past alien transgressions. They simply moved with a purpose so absolute that the galaxy itself seemed to bend to their will. It was in these moments, as entire alien squadrons were rendered ineffective, that the first whisper of something ancient and enduring passed among the human crews. Humanity had arrived, not merely as a participant in galactic conflict, but as a force whose reckoning would be remembered across the cosmos. And the aliens, once so certain of their supremacy, were left staring into a new reality. The universe would no longer tolerate arrogance, for humanity had awakened, and the stars themselves seemed to pulse with the promise of their inevitable dominance. The alien commanders could hardly comprehend what was happening. Every tactic they had relied upon for millennia, every strategy honed in the annihilation of weaker species, was failing before human ingenuity. Across the void, human fleets moved with an almost supernatural synchronization, a choreography that blended science, intuition, and audacity. Sensors recorded maneuvers that defied physics as the ships darted, spiraled, and shifted positions faster than even the most advanced alien calculations could predict. It wasn't just speed or firepower that gave humans the edge, it was adaptability, an uncanny ability to read, anticipate, and exploit every weakness in the alien formation. Alien fleets, once so confident, now quivered under the relentless precision of Terran tactics. The flagship of the Armada, its hull engraved with centuries of victories, flickered with warning signals as energy shields overloaded under carefully timed human assaults. Waves of quantum torpedoes, coordinated from multiple vectors, tore through armor and caused cascading failures across the ship. Alien engineers scrambled, but every repair was anticipated, every countermeasure nullified before it could be deployed. Communication breakdowns spread like wildfire. The subspace networks the aliens had depended on for coordination were commandeered, their transmissions intercepted and rewritten in real time by human hackers who understood the alien code better than its creators. Panic spread in the command chambers as alien officers realized that their centuries of experience, their so-called superiority, counted for nothing against an unpredictable, relentless species. Humanity's strategy was elegant and terrifying in its simplicity. Expose the arrogance, exploit the flaws, and then strike with devastating precision. No alien vessel could retreat unscathed. No formation could hold. No command structure could maintain order. And yet, the humans did not celebrate their victories. There was no chaos among their ranks, no indulgence in triumph. Each move was calculated, every assault purposeful, as though the entire fleet was guided by a singular consciousness, unbroken and unyielding. In the midst of battle, a human dreadnought emerged from the shadows of a nearby star system, a ship unlike any other in the galaxy. Its hull shimmered with adaptive materials, its weapons were tuned to destabilize alien shields, and its presence alone radiated an aura of authority that no alien vessel could withstand. The flagship of the alien Armada targeted it with everything it had: energy beams, missile barrages, graviton torpedoes. Yet the human dreadnought danced through the onslaught with precision, its hull absorbing and redirecting energy in ways that seemed almost alive, its counterattacks disassembling alien ships before they could even aim. Across the battlefield, human cruisers flanked alien vessels with lethal timing, striking simultaneously from directions that had seemed impossible. Alien fleets attempted to respond with conventional tactics, concentrated fire, ramming maneuvers, and psychic coordination, but the humans had already anticipated every scenario. Even their predictions were turned against them, as human ships created decoy patterns and false signals, confusing alien targeting systems to the point of paralysis. And through it all, humans maintained a chilling calm. There was no rush, no hesitation, no misstep. Every action was measured, deliberate, and devastatingly effective. Alien commanders began to whisper of Terran foresight, of uncanny timing, of strategies that should have been impossible to conceive in the heat of combat. Some muttered fearfully that humans were guided by instinct alone, a collective genius born from survival and necessity. Others dared to admit the unthinkable. Humanity was evolving faster than their technology could match. As the battle raged, entire alien fleets found themselves ensnared in gravitational traps they could not escape, their weapons neutralized by human engineers manipulating space-time itself. Alien officers were left powerless, witnessing as ships that had once symbolized dominance crumpled into drifting husks, energy discharges lighting up the void in a silent pyre of technological hubris. The humans pressed forward with relentless determination. Their advance was not driven by hatred or vengeance, but by the unshakable belief that their survival was paramount and that the galaxy would recognize their presence. Every destroyed alien ship, every shattered command structure, sent a message across the void. Humanity was not merely a species to be feared, it was an inevitability. In one haunting moment, a single alien cruiser, attempting a desperate maneuver to escape, was intercepted by a human frigate that had emerged from behind a nearby asteroid field. The frigate's captain, calm and precise, deployed a quantum feather that immobilized the alien vessel in place. Without hesitation, the humans dismantled its engines, disarmed its weapons, and transmitted a message. Resistance is expected. Surrender is optional. Humanity prevails. Across the remnants of the alien Armada, a strange silence spread. A realization that their empire's might could not withstand human ingenuity. For the first time in galactic history, a species thought to be inferior had outclassed and outmaneuvered the architects of fear. Humanity was not just fighting, it was rewriting the rules of warfare, reshaping the very understanding of power in the galaxy. And as the final wave of alien reinforcements approached, they too would face the same relentless precision, the same unyielding determination, and the same terrifying brilliance that had already brought entire fleets to ruin. In the void, amidst the debris and the fading energy trails of destroyed vessels, one truth emerged clearly. The galaxy had underestimated humans, and it would never make that mistake again. By the time the fourth wave of combat unfolded, the alien armada was a shadow of its former might. Fleet formations that had once dominated entire sectors were reduced to scattered pockets of survivors, desperately attempting to regroup, communicate, and mount any semblance of defense. Yet every maneuver was met with a human counterstrike that seemed simultaneously thoughtful and instinctive, as though the Terrans were not just predicting the future, they were shaping it. From the bridge of a massive human battleship, the Admiral observed the battlefield with a serenity that belied the magnitude of the destruction surrounding them. Sensors tracked thousands of alien vessels across light years, mapping trajectories, energy signatures, and potential weak points. Orders were issued in near silence, transmitted as data pulses rather than vocal commands, each one coordinating multiple wings of the fleet with flawless efficiency. Alien officers stared at their readouts in disbelief. Their sensors were sophisticated, their intelligence formidable, yet nothing prepared them for the speed and adaptability of the human forces. Time and again, they attempted to trap, outmaneuver, or outgun the humans, only to find their plans anticipated and undone before they could act. On the front lines, human ships executed complex maneuvers with precision that defied the laws of known physics. Cruiser squadrons flanked alien vessels from multiple directions simultaneously, their weapon volleys synchronized to maximize disruption. Dreadnoughts deployed subspace mines that seemed to materialize from nowhere, ensnaring alien ships in gravitational tethers and immobilizing entire flotillas. And through it all, humans maintained an unwavering composure. They did not panic when strikes failed, nor did they hesitate when opportunity arose. Every decision reflected a level of strategic genius that aliens struggled to comprehend, as though humanity had internalized the universe itself as a tactical resource. Meanwhile, in the heart of the conflict, smaller human fighters darted among the wreckage, executing hit-and-run attacks with surgical precision. Their pilots demonstrated a level of improvisation and adaptability that made them almost untouchable. Alien weapons that had decimated entire fleets before were rendered useless against the unpredictability and skill of Terran pilots. Communications between alien fleets grew frantic and disjointed. Commanders attempted to coordinate, but human interference in their subspace channels created contradictory orders, forcing alien ships to act against each other inadvertently. Panic spread in the Armada. Fear, that rare and corrosive element of alien psyches, began to dominate. Entire wings of alien vessels, confident at the battle's onset, now acted hesitantly, second-guessing every move. Human strategy did not rely on brute force alone, it relied on psychological mastery. By the time the alien commanders recognized this, the damage was irreparable. Capital ships that had once projected invincibility now drifted as powerless hulks, their crews unable to repair or coordinate effectively. Alien officers transmitted urgent pleas for retreat, but human forces had already anticipated this, positioning fleets to cut off any escape route. It was a trap with no exit, a demonstration not of malice, but of meticulous calculation. And as the alien armada's strength waned, humanity escalated the offensive. Quantum destabilizers tore through the remaining shields, targeting energy cores with surgical precision. Subspace pulses disrupted communication networks, ensuring alien coordination collapsed entirely. In the void, every alien vessel became a target, every movement predicted, every advantage nullified. Amidst this calculated carnage, humans remained focused not on slaughter, but on asserting control. There was a discipline, a purpose, and an intelligence that alien forces had never encountered. Survivors began to whisper of an almost supernatural ability to anticipate their every move, of an understanding of space, energy, and combat that seemed beyond comprehension. The Alien Council, observing the battle through distant observation satellites, was in shock. Their most formidable fleet, the pride of multiple systems, was being dismantled with an efficiency and ruthlessness that defied their expectations. Entire sectors that had once pledged allegiance to the Armada now reconsidered, witnessing the overwhelming force of humanity and realizing that allegiance to the aliens would be fatal. As the hours passed, human forces did not relent. Even with their supremacy apparent, they advanced further, consolidating control over strategic positions, ensuring that no alien vessel could regroup or recover. The battlefield became a testament to human ingenuity and unyielding resolve. Every strike was calculated, every maneuver precise, every decision grounded in an understanding of both the physical and psychological aspects of warfare. In the end, the alien fleets were left fragmented, broken, and in awe. The galaxy had witnessed something unprecedented. A species that had been underestimated, dismissed, and disregarded had turned the tide of battle with a combination of intellect, strategy, and an indomitable will to survive. And humanity, calm and unshaken, continued its advance, proving that no challenge, no empire, and no threat could deter their purpose. In the quiet aftermath of destruction, one truth became indisputable: the galaxy had changed forever. The humans were no longer participants. They were masters, architects of a new order where their power, ingenuity, and foresight were undeniable. And as the alien commanders faced the remnants of their once mighty fleet, they understood the final, terrifying reality. Humanity did not just fight. It transformed the very fabric of the stars with their resolve. The remnants of the alien armada drifted in silence, their ships crippled, shields shattered, and weapons rendered useless. What had once been a display of overwhelming power, meant to subdue and intimidate the humans, had become a graveyard of arrogance and hubris. Across the void, debris from fallen vessels glowed faintly in the distant starlight, drifting like spectral warnings for anyone who dared challenge humanity. Yet amidst this devastation, the human fleet remained flawless, disciplined, and unbroken, as though the chaos around them only sharpened their focus. Captain after captain transmitted status reports, detailing destroyed enemy vessels, secured territories, and energy reserves meticulously maintained for the next engagement, though the next engagement would likely never come. Humanity had proven itself not only superior in combat, but unmatched in foresight, strategy, and unity. On board the flagship, the Admiral gazed through the panoramic view screen, seeing the scale of victory unfold. No jubilation erupted among the crew, no self-congratulatory cheers. Instead, there was a solemn understanding. Their mission had always been more than battle. It was a demonstration to the galaxy that humans were not to be underestimated, that their will, intelligence, and resolve could outmatch even the most technologically advanced civilizations. Alien survivors, scattered across the battlefield, struggled to regroup, attempting weak counterattacks that were immediately neutralized. Attempts at diplomacy, hastily transmitted commands, and pleas for mercy fell on deaf sensors, as humans had anticipated these very moves and prepared contingencies long before the aliens considered them. The psychological impact of humanity's dominance rippled far beyond the battlefield. The Alien Council, once confident in their superiority, now faced an existential crisis. Systems that had pledged allegiance to the Armada reconsidered their positions, fearing the inevitable consequences of siding against humanity. Entire fleets turned away from the human advance, abandoning allies who had thought they could assert control over the Terrans. The very fabric of galactic politics began to shift, with humans emerging not as conquerors, but as the undeniable arbiters of order and power. In one striking maneuver, a human squadron approached a cluster of alien command ships that had attempted to escape into an uncharted nebula. Within moments, the squadron executed a complex gravitational net, ensnaring the alien vessels without a single shot fired. The trapped ships transmitted desperate messages, begging for terms, for mercy, for anything that could preserve the remnants of their pride. The human admiral responded with measured clarity, their voice calm and resolute. You were given warning. You chose arrogance. Humanity now defines the consequences. Energy waves, carefully calculated, disabled weapon systems, communications arrays, and propulsion units without taking a single unnecessary life, showcasing not cruelty but mastery of precision warfare. Across the galaxy, reports of the battle traveled faster than light-speed couriers. From fringe systems to imperial cores, the message was the same. Humanity had arrived, and the rules of engagement had irrevocably changed. Other civilizations, previously confident in their positions, began to reassess, realizing that the Terrans were not just a threat, they were a force of nature. And in the silent void where the alien Armada had attempted to dominate, humans continued to advance. They secured critical waypoints, stabilized systems in disarray, and demonstrated that their influence extended beyond mere destruction. Every action was purposeful, every victory a statement of capability and intent. On board the flagship, the Admiral reflected on the lessons learned through the campaign. The humans had faced a fleet meant to obliterate them, yet they had turned adversity into opportunity, transforming disadvantage into unmatched advantage. Their coordination, adaptability, and foresight were unparalleled, as if the galaxy itself had conspired to teach the aliens the price of underestimating humanity. And so, as the last remnants of the alien forces surrendered or vanished into the void, humanity did not gloat, did not celebrate. Instead, they stood resolute, their presence a beacon of power, intelligence, and unshakable determination. The stars, once witnesses to countless wars, now bore silent testimony to an unprecedented reality. Humans had survived against impossible odds, had outmaneuvered a superior armada, and had emerged not only victorious, but as the architects of a new galactic order. The alien armada's hubris had led them to ruin, and in their silence, a single, undeniable truth echoed across the cosmos: the galaxy would never again underestimate humanity. As the human fleet continued its patrol, scanning the stars, securing territories, and preparing for challenges yet unseen, one certainty remained. The universe had witnessed the rise of a species that combined intellect, will, and ingenuity into a force beyond comprehension. And in that quiet dominance, where stars shimmered and distant galaxies turned silently, the humans proved one final lesson. Survival was not enough. Humanity would define the future of the cosmos, and any who dared oppose them would be reminded of the indomitable power of their resolve.